Hey everybody, I'd like to apologize for my sweaty appearance. It is one of those really hot summers. Today is July the 15th, 2014. And this is a video letter to the Right Honourable Steve Blaney, who's the Member of Parliament for Public Safety, and to the Prime Minister of Canada, the Right Honourable Steve Harper. And this video letter is called Please Rewrite the Firearms Act. To both of you, thank you very much for your for the response to my February the 27th letter. The form letter that I received was exactly the same writing, said the same thing, but it was very non-personal. But at the same time, I can appreciate you're probably flooded with letters, so you had to make a response of some type. So thank you very much for your responses. Also to my Member of Parliament, Nathan Cullen, thank you very much for your form letter response. It was not the response I was looking for, but at least you made a response. So I want to make sure the Conservative Party of Canada understands that it's very close to losing a considerable percentage of its voting base. And I'm sure the Liberals and the Socialist NDP party is very happy to hear me say that. But the bully tactics used by the Chief Firearms Officers, Provincial and National Police forces on law-abiding gun owners continues. 2006, Canadians voted in a Conservative Party, the Conservative Party of Canada. And at that time, they were a minority party. But part of their election platform was that they're going to basically revamp the Canadian Firearms Act. And part of that was to abolish the long gun registry. During the first phase of the Canadian Conservative Party of Canada's tenure as the Government of Canada, they did not do that because they were a minority government. And they knew that the Bloc Québécois and the Liberals and the NDP would not go along with that. So it just didn't happen. Then there was another election. They won a majority government. And still, to this day, a lot of the promises that came along with their election platform have not happened. The Conservatives have now been in power for 8 years. They have abolished the long gun registry as they promised to do, but that took 7 years to accomplish. 8 years has elapsed, and still, there's so much more work to be done. So, progressive Liberals and Socialists within the House still have control over the bureaucratic firearms system because their legislation is still in effect. Bureaucrats have continued to impose unfair Liberal gun control measures on Canadians over the past 8 years of Conservative leadership. This is not only incompetent, it is embarrassing. It is one of the worst pieces of legislation on the books. We all see this occurring within what, on the outside, kind of looks like a vacuum of Conservative leadership. Now, I've heard of nothing of consequence from Minister of Safety, Public Safety, Steve Blaney, or the Prime Minister. It's not even on the horizon. They're not even thinking about it. I don't think it's even on the radar about how they're going to correct the measures that have been imposed for the last 8 years of their reign as our government. And my counsel is for them to not make this, not to wait and make this an election issue, because by that time it'll be too late. Because frankly, not too many people are happy with the Conservative Party of Canada at this point in time. And the Socialists and the Progressive Liberals have been steadily growing a support base. And we very well may not see a Conservative government in power next election. We've observed the entry into dwellings or people's homes by the RCMP to seize firearms in high-level Alberta. under the premise that public safety was placed in jeopardy because of the floods. And to be honest, we don't buy that propaganda. And we are extremely offended by those actions. We are persistently presented with bureaucratic obstacles and have to deal with newly invented bully tactics of the Chief Firearms Officers and the police commissioners in this country. How would you feel if the police could enter your home without a warrant and search your dwelling simply because you're a firearms owner, while the drug lord or the drug dealer down the street, well, no, they need a search warrant to go and search their home. So long as you're a firearms license owner, they can come in and search your dwelling without a warrant. But a drug lord does not. They're protected. Does that make any sense to you? I am an outstanding law-abiding Canadian. I volunteer for local organizations. I donate to those that are less fortunate than me. I'm a family man. I have no criminal record. I work hard, I pay my bills, and I pay my taxes. And these are typical attributes of your average Canadian gun owner. And I object to the manner in which the Firearms Act criminalizes people like me when actual criminals no longer seem to be the focus of the Conservative agenda. It's not just the Conservative agenda, it's the Liberals and it's the NDP too. They're the people that wrote this act. The Conservative Party of Canada is allowing the RCMP Firearms Lab to interpret poorly written Liberal legislation by not rebuilding the Firearms Act into sensible legislation. The Conservative Party of Canada is by default condoning the continued criminalization and prosecution of law-abiding Canadians and sponsoring the theft of their property. I implore you, the Conservative Party of Canada, to propose a rewrite of the Federal Firearms Act, and in doing so I implore you to be inclusive of consultations from the expert firearms community and utilize scientific processes and data, not emotional drivel and political agendas. I implore you to initiate a piece of legislation that all Canadians can be proud of. Leadership can be difficult, but if done right, it will unite Canadians rather than divide them. Now let me be crystal clear, very, very clear. I will continue to withhold my donations and my vote for the Conservative Party of Canada so long as they fail to deliver substantial Firearms Act reforms. There are 1,700,000 licensed firearms owners in Canada that are waiting to see some results from you, and our voting support is in the balance. George Washington said, "It will be found an unjust and unwise jealousy to deprive a man of his natural liberty upon the supposition that he may abuse it." Don't make Canadians criminals through a paper transaction. This is Rifle Chair signing off. This is a letter to Minister Steve Blaney, Minister of Public Safety, and the Prime Minister of Canada. Thank you, and Maple Leaf up.